Hi there, my name's Amy Clark. I'm one of the agents here at Cutler, and today I've got John Rogers with the Rogers Network. He is our Cutler very own auctioneer, and I'm going to just go through a few questions with him. He's going to answer some, and then you guys are going to be able to learn a lot more about the auction opportunities here with Cutler.
Absolutely. And
with Cutler agents. So welcome.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Nice to see you again. Of course, we've known each other for what, almost a year
now? Yeah.
And I've got experience doing some of the auctions with you. So first thing I want to do is ask, I've got an idea of what I think would be right for an auction.
Sure.
Most people don't know.
Sure.
What type of property is the best one for an auction?
It's a great question. So the first thing that I talk about when I talk to agents about auction is, have they ever sold a property for cash? And usually when I ask that in the room, everybody's hand goes up. That's the first probably identifier that I look at when it talks about auction property, is something that maybe isn't lendable. Maybe it has some conditional issues. Maybe it's something that does need to be sold for cash quickly. And those are usually very, very good indicators that might be an auction method. So that would be the one. Others might be just highly coveted. It might be something that years ago we had something on Riverside Drive, and nothing on that stretch of Riverside Drive hadn't sold for 25 years. Property came up perfectly lendable, but it was an opportunity that was so coveted that they said this is going to be a bidding war.
And there's no good comps.
Absolutely.
Because nothing had.
That's exactly right.
Had sold.
So now.
So if it's ugly.
The uglier the better.
If it's a disaster.
Yep.
That's a good option.
Then it could very well be a good option.
We had one where it was a rural property, very unique, but the house itself had issues. It had mold and some other things going on.
Yeah.
And if we just put it on like the regular market, I was just really afraid we weren't going to get. And so when we put it on auction, we ended up getting a much better result with that. So if it's ugly, if it's unique.
Yep.
What else? Is that?
Yeah, and cash, so lendable. In other words, if for some reason if it's not lendable, any reason whatsoever, it might even be a situation where the conditional issues are so, I hate to say bad, but they're so to the point that the seller does not have the resources to remedy those. So they're not going to be able to go through inspections and remedies and correct some of those things. They're saying we have to sell it as is. So that would be one of the big indicators, is if we're selling a property as is, and typically that very well could be cash or creative lending, then it very well may be a good opportunity for auction.
So when it comes to having the conversation with the client, what I've done, you tell me if this is right or wrong, and it's kind of worked, is I might bring up the idea of, hey, I think that we probably should look at the potential for an auction.
Absolutely.
But they all have just this whatever idea they have of an auction. It's not real. So when I'm looking at what's my next step, I don't want to delve into things that really I'm not an expert in. So I don't do that. I bring you. Me. So that first step, like I think it's well, and actually I should back up. If I think it's like, this is ugly, this is a mess, I don't even know, this might be good for auction. We're having a conversation. And then.
Absolutely. So if an agent brings up an opportunity, they say, hey, John, I've got one. Don't know. It might be good, might not sure. Then that's okay. That's exactly what we're looking for. And then I just ask for some real, basic information, the address and so forth. I do a little bit of research. And then the idea is to vet this property. Even before we approach the seller with ideas and how it works and structure, let's vet the property, make sure it's good for auction. And then I also think it's extremely important to go to the client together if they're okay with that. Once the agent has said they've broached the idea, they've mentioned it, and again, what's great about it, there's no obligation, zero obligation to the seller. This is just an opportunity for fact-finding, research. Is it going to work? And then when we talk to them together, I think that it works best because you know them, you have the opportunity,
it's warmer.
And then I can answer the questions. And if it's something doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And there's been 3 or 4 that I've gone to here in the last month that have gone with the agents, and I've had to go to the agent and said, this just isn't going to work because, and explain, this is going to be better for you to do this conventionally and with this method, and here's my idea of marketing. And I try to help the agents best I can, even if it's not going to go auction.
So just knowing that it's the right fit or it's not the right fit, but just having that warm contact, and that's what we've done in the past. We have one recently that hopefully still will happen, but it became complicated. Because there turns out that don't know what I'm allowed to say. There were recoupments, some tax recoupments that we were unaware of that needed to happen. So what's been great is that because John was involved, he was able to then take the lead with talking to the attorney and going through all of those motions. So we'll probably do that in another kind of episode where we can talk a little bit more about those things that you can handle. But bringing him in, then we were able to ascertain, like, is it the right property? Yes, it is. But now we have some complicating things. So we'll deal with those maybe in the next time we talk.
Absolutely.
But okay, so talk about partnering. So what does partnering look like within Cutler, between me, another agent here, and you? Tell us what that looks like.
Sure, great question. So different agents may have different motivations. In other words, there may be an agent that says, listen, I found this opportunity. It could be a great lead. It really may work well for auction, but I really don't want to handle it. It's messy. Sure. There's court things. There's judgment.
Which is the one I'm doing for you.
Yeah, if you can have one of those.
Just take it away.
Yeah,
take it away and fix it. And then, okay.
And so the way we're going to handle that is, number one, we'll handle everything. For the MLS, marketing, open houses, we'll handle everything. The agent, the referring agent, the partnership agent is still added as an additional listing agent to the MLS. And what that's going to do is two things. Number one, it's going to give partial credit to that referring agent. So from the credit standpoint, it's going to be there. But the greatest thing is we're still going to have a partnership or commission share of 3%, a full 3% commission back to that referring agent.
Even when I'm saying this is messy,
I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. So
please
there's still a 3%. So it's better than even, or referral.
Absolutely.
So 3%.
So that's that opportunity. Okay. Another opportunity, it's more rare, doesn't come up very often, but it can. And we want to make sure there's an opportunity here for an agent that's in this position. Maybe they have zero agency. This just came on their lap. Okay. Somebody threw this as a lead. They have it. They said, you know what, this may work good for auction, but maybe they have a buyer. If that's the case, they may say, hey, John, I want you to take this. Take it to MLS. I don't want to be added as additional listing agent. I don't want to practice dual agency, but you look at it. If it worked, I'm still paying a full 3% commission share referring to the referring agent. Then they have the opportunity to come with their buyer, and if their buyer wins, and again, they can pick up the co-op or the 3% on the buy side. So there's an opportunity for an agent that can pick up 6% on a deal.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but I want to work with you. I want to truly partner. I want to, still maintain the basic, the main relationship.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Absolutely. A great question. And we even launched something new this year we're calling Commission Plus.
Okay.
In the case where an agent says, I'd like to maintain the listing. I need a partnership. This may be great auction, but I really want to maintain control of the listing.
Gotcha.
We've got that covered. You maintain the listing. You list the MLS. We're listed as an additional listing agent. So we keep everything copacetic for MLS for auction. Explain
and you
exactly.
Give us the specific language.
Yeah, the specific language, the check marks, the boxes, all those things. Yeah. Make sure that's good. And then we will carry that all the way through the program. You're going to help with open houses, marketing side, exactly like you would on listing. We're doing it's a true partnership.
Right.
In that case, it's called a Commission Plus because we're going to share 4%. So 4% of the high bid is what's going back to the referring agent. So that's we're excited. We're excited about that because this is the first year that we've done it. We're excited to launch that with Cutler.
Great. And in all of those scenarios, big benefits to the seller financially can you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to the seller, some big benefits and things that we even differentiate ourselves, I think, for some of the competition out there and what we want to do with Cutler and a part of this partnership program. First of all, there's zero commission. So zero commission to the seller. Right. Zero closing cost to the seller, which is unusual. Even in our world of auction, many times a lot of our competition is still having the seller pay some. Gotcha. And so we're making sure we reduce that. And then no credited taxes or prorated taxes to the buyer. So the zero cost to the seller on those costs. The only cost the seller has would be a partial market reimbursement that would be at closing, which is usually about 0.5 to 0.75% flat fee, fixed fee, that would go at closing. And if that means that if we did not sell this property, there's zero cost to the seller. Nothing. Gotcha. There's nothing up front, nothing they're paying. So that's how they're handling it. Yeah. A couple other things that's good for the seller is that we are contracting both the winning bidder and the backup bidder. And we're contracting them both at the winning bidder's price.
Yeah, so there's always a backup in place.
So if there's a backup bidder and they want that position, we're contracting at winner bidder's price. And the other thing we're doing, and this is huge for us, is we're collecting a non-refundable down payment. The reason that's different is that I do still see out there that some agents and auctioneers are collecting earnest money and then trying to put terms earnest money. but in the state of Ohio, you cannot put terms to earnest money.
Yeah.
That's governed by state law. So we're getting away from that. We're using a non-refundable down payment. So in the event that a primary bidder would default, then a portion, 50% of that non-refundable down payment is going directly to the seller. And we just had that happen about a month ago. So that seller is receiving, in that case, $10,000, and the house doesn't sold.
Yeah.
But they received $10,000, and that's moved within 72 hours.
Well, this is huge. And, you know, for you that know or have done auctions, we had, prior to meeting John and persuading him to come our direction to be part of the Cutler family.
Yeah.
We had 3 with another company. We had 3 fails, and no sale, and no backup. So when I remember when we first talked, when you said there will always be a backup, and that there's a deposit. I mean, had there been teeth in those? And when I say we, like, it was not just me, but there were 3 agents that had 3 deals that fell through a handful of years ago. And it wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean?
That's the way to try to protect it. And
absolutely.
The whole idea here is to put a structure together that meets the needs of the client and protects them when it comes to the idea of an expediency through auction, making sure that something would be successful at.
All right. Well, that's all we're going to cover today.
Yes.
And then we'll tackle some more topics and some of these
Sounds great.
difficult things that you've been able to solve for us. So
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Obviously, he's Cutler, he's ours. So just get a hold of John. Any property that you feel like is a possibility, or you even want to learn more, you can get a small group together. He'll go out, he'll meet and greet and do all the training and everything. So good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
See you.